The tree line is the most dangerous part.
There's not a lot that we do that doesn't have something to do with what I learned in Special Forces as a Green Beret.
I see the tripwire. What the Russians will do is they'll play off of curiosity. Taliban, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, they all do it. The lot of demining is trying to find that first mine. So where there's one, there's 10, there's 50, there's 100, there's 1,000. There's never just one. Let's go. We have to understand the dangers, and we have to understand what we're up against.
Let's get to work.
You get that hit. Oh, I got a solid hit. And then all of a sudden adrenaline goes up and you're like, ooh, that's a big hit. Something's here. It's awesome. It feels good. Once we remove that mine, that's even a more powerful feeling because you know that innocent person, they're not gonna find the mine the hard way. I know what these devices can do to you because I stepped on an IED in Afghanistan. 18 months, 28 surgeries, learning how to walk again.
Ukraine is the world's largest minefield. At least 170,000 kilometers are considered contaminated. That's roughly the size of Florida. There's millions of these mines, millions. Long after the last shot of the war is fired, landmines are going to continue to injure and kill people.
Mine!
It's one mine at a time and finding hope in a minefield. Bro.
Hello.
Ah, привет. Aha. Bro. Second home.
Second room. How are you?
I am the founder and CEO of Tip the Spear Landmine Removal, which is a humanitarian mine action nonprofit. We're a veteran-founded and operated NGO. This is going to be mission number 13, and this is probably going to be our biggest one.
Russians always pushing, and the war is changing very fast.
We are strictly in Ukraine for humanity.
Because these are explosives meant to maim and kill. And you're removing them.
How was the night?
Loud.
Yeah.
It was very loud. There was lots of, I don't know how many strikes, but there was a lot last night.
This is like 100 meters from my street. This is like next corner. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. Thank you. Hello. Ryan.
Nice.
Very nice to meet you.
Big boss. This is Sasha, our new deminer, veteran.
I'm very, very happy you're here.
There's a war. There's a war going on here. There's no doubt about that, right?
Glad to see you in Kharkiv.
It's great to see you too, brother. I'm the Chief Technical EOD Advisor for Tip of the Spear. And last year I went on my first trip to Ukraine with Ryan, and the rest is history, I suppose. Making the transition out of the military for me, big reason I came out here was a sense of purpose. This is what I'm meant to do, mitigate explosive threats for people, right? That's my calling. That's why I was put on earth. People obviously all have their own opinions, but I think sitting in an office and working a 9 to 5 is crazy. So helping people out, that's what I'm after. That's why I'm here.
Tip the Spear,
U.S. veterans working together with Ukrainian veterans, giving them purpose again
through helping other people in a humanitarian way.
That's what it's all about.
And that's why we do what we do.
According to the signal that the metal detector gives you, you can already understand that the object is round, large, smaller, or oblong.
Here we use for training to understand the sound, vibration, signal. Everybody believes that we have new technologies, new innovations, everything. But to be honest,
you still need the guy on the ground.
Yeah.
I would never go to a farmer and look him in the eye, shake his hand and say, your land is clean, unless human beings have verified it, no machine.
Exactly.
This is...
Yeah. Exactly. And Soviet kind of mines, usually that's very good quality, like you can see in Ukraine it's not good roads. You can see in Ukraine not good quality of buildings, but mines.
Good mines, yeah.
There's
Best
good
quality.
mines.
Yeah, exactly,
That's right.
all the time.
Long after the last shot of the war is fired, landmines are going to continue to injure and kill people. They don't care about race, religion, politics, gender. They kill indiscriminately.
I'm gaining my humanitarian demining experience here. So we're gaining that experience right now.
Practice, 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 practice. So when we get out to the field, then we're doing it all naturally.
And we start working.
Landmines are the unknown. If I can control the terrain, I can make you move in the areas that I want you to move in. It is an extremely risky job if you don't have the risk mitigation.
Very first thing I did was I checked for tripwires. Now I need to cut the grass until you have a working area. Now I do my first sweep. I got a solid hit. It's like, okay, something's here. I have the most balance in the prone on my stomach. And so I started excavating in until I had visual on something. Then I saw the indicator of PMN2. This is PMN2 mine right here. And now I signal to the minefield commander, mine.
Mine!
Imagine doing like just this little field right here. This is weeks. There's millions of these mines, millions.
You can control about 85% of demining. 15% of it is God's will.
I want to find them so other people don't.
So say you are walking along, right? You do step on something, it explodes. As the shock wave travels up, it's going to separate a lot of the tissue away from the bones. So it might come all the way up into here. Pull it tight. So we want to make sure we do tourniquets as high as possible, wrapping around. Pull and twist. Pull and twist.
Even though what we're doing is extremely high risk, we know that everything we're doing in the name of God. While I'm out there the whole time, I know that he has our back.
Hey, Mike and Frankie, anti-personnel there.
A lot of these little landmines, they look like little toys, right? A kid could just walk up and be like, oh, what's this? I put myself in that situation. If I was the family that lived there, it is tough, right? Just to think about that.
Initially, after the blast, you'll see a guy sometimes lose a leg completely or an arm, and there's no blood. And you're like, oh, maybe it's not so bad. And then it opens up like a fire hose.
I remember looking down and I was like, oh, maybe this isn't that bad. And then it was just
unfortunately,
Niagara
and then
Falls.
it is. Yeah.
You know, I know God has a plan for everybody's life. And I do know that you're not going to die before it's your time. I spent over 22 years in the military. Started off in the Navy in 1997. We were the second ship on the scene when the USS Cole got bombed. That's the hole in it. And one of the first salvos in the War on Terror, if you think about it. 14 years in the Army, Special Forces, Green Berets. 2010, I was in Afghanistan and we were conducting a major clearance of the Chittu River Valley. I stepped on an IED. The team said the explosion rocked the entire valley. I was in the middle of it, so all I heard was a pop and this bright flash of light. As the dust started to clear, I looked down and I saw these two white objects sticking out of my pants. And when I realized that was my tib and my fib, then the pain rushed in. I ended up getting carried out on my buddy's shoulders. And I remember looking down as we took off, and this overwhelming sense of shame that I just let everybody down.
You're pretty rough on yourself some days too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's what pushed you though. You were like, I'm gonna get better. So I feel like that was a huge motivator for you. I think you had a goal in mind.
I was going back to Afghanistan.
Yeah, he didn't want to be one of their numbers. He wanted to come back and do something, and he did.
I was still in Afghanistan, but that was me receiving the Purple Heart. 2010, that's when, I got blown up. 2012, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, and then again I left in July 21. I used to look at September 12th, 2010 as the worst thing that ever happened to me, as the day that, my life changed for the worst. There's an old saying, God doesn't waste pain. And so I believe, my personal belief and my faith, that God put me in that situation to step on that IED because he needed to set me up for where my life is now and what we're doing in Ukraine. I know that if it wasn't for that day, then I wouldn't have the passion that I have today for removing landmines. We donate detectors to humanitarian mine action units. This will be about 500 detectors we've donated to Ukraine. Pack them up. Military, that is a job of service. In every deployment, this American flag goes with me. And so going to Ukraine and helping out in a humanitarian role, the impact that that does for your purpose, hope, everything like that is just, that's the answer. With the high threat of landmines and unexploded ordnance,
good afternoon.
It's the smaller farmers that take a huge risk at losing their livelihoods.
I mean, there is no profit. It's an issue of needing to feed your family.
So they're starting to take these enormous risks at working their land.
I was blown up by an anti-tank mine. I don't have an eye now.
They can't wait. Their life depends on it, and so does their families. You have this farmer's field and then another field. You have the main road. We have the trench line. The Russians were here for 6 months in this position. Around his farm, there is a lot of PFM-1s.
Since they were there for half a year and planning to leave, it's probably mined.
Yes.
He has been waiting a very long time for someone to come and check this plot for him.
Easy to look, easy to check.
Let's play.
Let's play.
This is gonna be a great day. If we have an accident, REMA will respond as medic. We will designate 4 people to help carry. If he's not injured, Roman is primary driver. Hospital, Balaklia. This area has not been checked. We will be on a line. In between each line, здесь 10 meters. Between. Slow, medlennie. Questions? No? Okay, first, we pray. Dear God, please keep us safe on the fields today. Please use us to do your work. When I'm on the minefields, oh yeah, I'm always, let's go, talking with God. Hey God, guide my probe. Rocket! It's empty. You got projectile, going up, marking it off, taking a grid, and sending it up.
They use this kind of thing in order to deny an area to the enemy by putting things like your PFM-1s or other cluster munitions over a wide area.
So the rocket's over there. And this guy right here is what holds in the PFM-1 anti-personnel mines. And so this drops out and they scatter over the field. There's definitely indicators of PFM-1s in the area. It's just, it's hard to tell where they released at. I mean, if this was the Russian fighting position here, my guess would be that field over there.
They advanced from that way, right?
The Ukrainians advanced from that way, coming this way. You are literally dealing with an explosive device that was military manufactured for one reason, to injure you or to kill you.
Mine!
PFM-1 there. There's one there. There's one there. There's one next to it. That's 4. Here is part of the canister they came in, so they probably didn't eject properly. And then there's another 2 that the detector hit on, but they're in the ground, so that's 6 total. I do believe God gives you guidance. Wisdom, guidance, composure, strength, and patience. You can spend days in one field so you can at least start to get a direction. Patience is huge on a minefield. You have to say no, take a break. You need to back off. Hold on, one moment. You will make a mistake and you will get yourself or somebody else injured or killed. And it only takes one mistake. I'm thirsty. Gotta get this pump. Woo! Okay, let's go. All right, guys, that's a wrap for today. Found some pretty neat stuff. Shahed, drone fin, some rockets, and then there was some stuff in the tree line, Posadka, that's dangerous. 6 total, PFM1. We recorded it, ported it up, and now it's up to Sesu to take care of it. But it's been a good day. Americans, Canadians, Ukrainians, all working together for what you see behind me. Yep, farmers getting back on their field and taking their lives back. All right, guys. I left Afghanistan about 45 days from the full withdrawal of U.S. forces. And I just remember just feeling absolutely torn apart the way we were leaving. And it hurt me. I had given 7 deployments, close to 5 years in Afghanistan for some change. When we left Afghanistan, I lost that higher sense of purpose. Like, what am I actually doing? I became a victim for a long time, till a point I almost killed myself. Then I rededicated my life to God. I have an app on my phone where I listen to the Bible.
Lord, we want our eyes to be opened.
Something will speak to me and I'll just start to talk to God. I was like, God, I can't do this alone anymore. What do you want me to do with this? He's like, it's simple. I don't waste pain. Use that pain and that experience to go help other people.
Before the war, I worked at a car parts company. I worked peacefully, lived with my child and wife. Then the full-scale war started and I volunteered to serve in the military. Now I work in the organization Tip of the Spear. When I was in the military, I was blown up by a Russian booby trap. Russians mine things specifically to inflict harm on the civilian population, which is not military at all. They mine civilians' doors, windows, beds, everything, anything at all. Often it is children's toys. I play soccer. 90% are military people. As they say, your own family of brothers in arms.
You have bombs dropping over there and football over here. When you look at war, the civilian population suffers the most. There is a refugee crisis from this war that is only second to World War II. We're evacuating people out of areas that the Russians are threatening.
We are going to Volynska Balaklia, the city name. So it will be activity for not ask them about the evacuation, why it's important. You don't need to stay for long, to not mobile people with disabilities, other stuff.
How far away is the Russian advance from there?
It's close. This dangerous place. Russian drones attacked this place.
All right, good to go. We're going to talk to people about, hey, you may want to think about evacuating. It's heartbreaking. You're literally being torn out of your life and moved to a temporary shelter. It's a complete life-altering change, all because you're under the threat of violence, because Russians are getting close. The civilian casualties from this war are high.
Drones fly in here. So come on.
Has different aerials up top for different frequencies. So the bigger the drone, bigger the frequency. Drones are the biggest danger out here at the moment. Never go out without one, ideally.
I have people that ask where to and how. Where are they taking us now? Do you know what they are saying is true? They say a lot.
You have already relocated before and now face a difficult choice. You shouldn't be ashamed either. We are evacuating people from Kupiansk right now because it is getting more and more dangerous.
So we need to survive this moment. Evacuation means evacuation.
I don't want to. It will be a disaster.
A lot of the people in there, they're all refugees from Luhansk. And now they're like, you want us to leave again?
They don't want to leave here.
No. I always imagine that what if I was sitting in this chair and people came in and were having this conversation with me.
Look, you are putting yourselves at risk when there are hostilities here. That's why we try to make sure you hear us and we are able to help.
Your heart breaks for the decision, but you rejoice in the fact that they have the human dignity of having a choice. One lady brings food to extremely dangerous areas, and she's not going to leave here because that mission for her, feeding those people, is bigger than her own safety. It's the definition of heroism, like, if I've ever seen it.
Now we have Veliki Burluk for evacuation, and we will finish the mission. We have 2 people there. And who are we picking up?
A car with a trailer and 2 people and a shepherd dog.
They were flying over our heads, over us. We screamed and covered our ears. Then they bombed us. Oh, Lord.
This road controlled Russian drones.
The FPV drone threat here is high. Obviously, as you can see, all the drone netting covering the roads. It's the reality now.
We have many cases where we talk to people and they refuse evacuation. A few days later, we receive photos of the destroyed bodies of the people who stayed behind. We hear usually the Russian soldiers are alcoholics, drug addicts, people in a bad emotional state, and they can be very cruel. And this forces us, when we hear no to evacuation, not to give up trying, but to prove, to add arguments. Because we understand that next time these people might not be alive.
Thanks to the volunteers. We hope that everything will be fine. I will find a job in Kharkiv. I will work. I say if you survive, the war will end. Oh, Lord.
Coming here 2-3 times a year, helping people, it helped me recover with how we left Afghanistan, because I was going to do everything in my power to make sure that my Ukrainian brothers and sisters weren't abandoned, weren't left. We have everything else that's going on around the world. Ukraine has fallen far into the back pages. I take it very personal, and I don't want to let the Ukrainians down.
Once you're out of the military, it's like you don't have your tribe anymore. You know what I mean? You're on your own. Because I used to go to work. I'm like, I'm going to work, but I'm going to work with my best friends. You know what I mean?
It's definitely difficult to try and fill that gap once you get out. You know, and a lot of us end up searching, and we kind of really don't get to that point where you find exactly how to fill that gap.
Especially if you've done combat rotations with them. You become trauma bonded. You always talk about that sort of thing. And then one day you wake up and it's over.
The way you served in the military at a certain level, you can never recreate that.
It's easy. I can see guys go down that rabbit hole without feeling like they don't have purpose, you know?
Until you jump into something like this. It helped out a lot when Ryan brought it up, you know? Frankie retired, hey, you want to come? And then I started going over there. I'm helping people, man, and it's just something that you can't compare to anything else.
Yep. And I also believe that it directly relates to the suicide crisis with veterans is because loss of purpose, loss of hope, until it just becomes overbearing. In my belief, God knows when you're born and when you die. Those 2 chapters of your book of life, they're already there. All the middle pages are up to you to fill in. You're going to have a book that you can be proud of or be ashamed of. People are like, oh, well, no one knows what the answer for PTSD is. And I was like, I do. Go out and help people. Find something that's bigger than yourself. Believe in something that's bigger than yourself, and then go out and help people. I want other veterans that may be struggling with purpose and service and hope to come over and just give it a shot, because it'll change your life forever. Yeah.